Today's show is sponsored by the No Bullshit merch store on Teespring. Support the show by buying one of our tasty new t-shirt designs. We've got the classic No BS logo and the It's Okay to Be Right style, all available in shirts, sweaters, coffee mugs, and stickers at affordable prices. Do you want to look too cool for school? Order a No BS shirt today on Teespring. Link below. Hello and welcome back to No Bullshit. Today we're talking about a little tiff between former Vice President Joe Biden and current sitting President Donald J. Trump. Recently, Biden did a speech in Miami where he was being pretty open about how he feels about the president. Check this clip out.
When a guy who ended up becoming a national leader said I can grab a woman anywhere and she likes it.
Yeah, he kind of said that. Not in those exact words, but yes. Trump said women let stars like him kiss and grab them wherever they want, and there's nothing wrong with this. The girls are letting men touch them. That's called consensual contact. I don't get why all these libtards think they could turn these comments into negatives. Maybe they're just jealous no one lets them grab them. I sure know Joe Biden here has been caught trying to kiss and grab people who didn't ask for it. Like this example here, of Biden grabbing and pulling this little redhead girl, while he creepily whispers into her ear. I don't think she gave consent for that, Joe, and she really seemed like she wasn't into it at all, poor kid. And this goes on in this photo op with Biden. He's repeatedly caught grabbing and kissing these children here, like with this other girl in a red dress.
Very good.
That'd be great.
Come on, slide across. We'll get everybody in. We're going to switch here. You two come here.
There we go.
You got it? Okay.
He's really manhandling that preteen girl there, pulling her in and around him, sliding his hand under her arm, onto her side, just below the breast. Man, that's creepy. Why is it always the weirdest and creepiest and most degenerate Democrats who try and call out Trump? They're saying Trump's a sexist. Yeah, right. But at least now we get the full picture on Biden. Seems like old creepy Uncle Joe here might be projecting a bit. He's the one with the troubled, sexist, groping history, not Trump. Oh well, let's get back to Biden's initial speech. Why not? For shits and gigs. Let's finish this off.
And then said, I made a mistake. I didn't make a mistake. They asked me would I like to debate this gentleman. I said no. I said we're in high school. I'd take you behind the gym and beat the hell out of him.
Liberals turning to violence once again, much like how Antifa storms peaceful conservative rallies and starts attacking people instead of talking things out. Now we got Joe Biden here, suggesting a physical fight with the sitting president, instead of course, being rational and ironing out their differences in a conversation. I think the left is forced to go to violence at this point. It's really all they got. They can't win in the realm of ideas anymore. They don't have logic or reason on their side either, so they just spurg out and attack and fight everyone. Pretty pathetic.
I've been in a lot of locker rooms my whole life. I'm a pretty damn good athlete. Any guy who talked that way was usually the fattest, ugliest SOB in the room.
Talked what way? Trump said women let him kiss, grab, and have sex with them. That's a simple claim he made with his friend Billy Bush in private, and I personally believe it. Women have been sleeping with rich and powerful men since the beginning of time. This isn't really news to anyone. But, of course, the left aren't looking at these comments honestly. They're misrepresenting them to try and make Trump look sexist and terrible. He's not. In fact, it's leftists like Joe Biden who look like terrible dipshits. He's not only lying about what the president said, he's also saying he would fight him over lies. Sure, Biden might have said this in a joking manner in a speech, but it does really say a lot about his character. And again, a simple Google search will show you that Joe Biden is the real creep here, not Trump. Biden has countless pictures and videos of him being handsy and kissing on women who didn't ask for it. I'm pretty sure he's rather jealous of Trump too. Jealous that Trump actually gets women that want to have sex with him. And all poor old Joe can do is cop a feel at a public photo op, forcing little girls and fucking children into his arms. Why do you think Jeff Sessions here swats Joe away from his kid in this video clip? Sessions knows what's up. Next, let's get to Trump's eventual response to this. The Don fired back with the tweet about Biden today. Let's look at CNN's coverage of it in their video.
In an official statement, the President of the United States called a former Vice President weak, both mentally and physically, and said that if he had a fight with Joe Biden, Biden would go down hard. Now, to be fair, the former vice president keeps saying he could beat up the president.
Wow, CNN, you really duffed this one up. On purpose, too, I'm sure. First, they lead off with Trump's tweet, which they weirdly call an official statement. I guess it is. I mean, it's from his official Twitter, but I would hardly frame this up as an official statement from the White House. It's a tweet, but I'm sure CNN is trying to do this to make the fighting comment sound worse, and it sounds more childish if it's within an official statement in that context. They also try to make it sound like Trump started this. They start with Trump's tweet, even though he's responding to Biden. Biden. Sure, they clarify that in the next line with a "to be fair," but a true journalist telling this story wouldn't bury the lead like that, on purpose to be misleading. This is only done again to try and make Trump look worse. That's CNN's bread and butter. They want it to seem like the Donald started this, when he really didn't. But hey, I know how it is. Saying CNN is biased is like saying water is wet. So let's go ahead and get back to Trump's response. Here's the tweet again. Crazy Joe Biden is trying to act like a tough guy. Actually, he is weak, both mentally and physically, and yet he threatens me, for the second time, with physical assault. He doesn't know me, but he would go down fast and hard, crying all the way. Don't threaten people, Joe. Now, I actually think this is a mild and justified response from Trump, especially for him. He's not even going all out on Joe. He's just responding to his repeated threats. And let's be honest, Trump is 100% right here. Biden is weak. He's mentally weak, and that's why he never made it past VP. He doesn't have the brain capacity to run for president. And of course, he's also old and physically weak too. Sure, Trump's only 3 years younger than Joe, but he looks about 10 years younger, or more. Joe Biden looks like an old dying man. He looks like the Emperor in Return of the Jedi. Trump looks way more healthy. He looks like a healthy kick-ass 60-year-old with grandpa strength, while Joel looks older and older than he is, like a dying 80-year-old man, withering up. And look at this matchup picture for their dimensions.
Oh my gosh.
Trump's got 3 inches and 25 pounds on Creepy Joe, and those extra LBs are all muscle and cock, don't worry. And I love how people are making these real matchup graphics. It's pretty funny. Obviously Trump would win in a real fight, and of course he's winning in this virtual fight of ideas narrative too. Many shows and celebs have been reacting to this hilarious matchup, but there's one in particular I want to go over today. The View had some interesting things to say about the Trump v. Biden story, so let's check them out.
I think Biden would be.
Yeah.
You know, this guy can't even go to the bathroom without a golf cart.
Oh, that's a good.
I've got no idea what she's talking about. I heard Trump pees straighter than an arrow. I even heard that Donald and Mike Pence still do peeing sword fights. Only on slow office days, though.
Such a dude. This is such a dude response. If women ruled the world, this would not be what we're dinging.
I know.
Okay, thanks for that image. I won't be sleeping for a couple of nights, but oh well. Also, her point here is terrible. Sure, men get macho sometimes and our arguments can turn physical, but let's not pretend women don't fight too. In fact, since you brought this up, I would argue women fight more. Girls gossip, argue, fight, they're catty, they hold grudges, they emotionally sabotage children. Women fight people too, is what I'm getting at. And maybe men's fights turn into brawls more and fisticuffs and fighting scenarios, fist fights, karate, maybe. But women are catty and vicious and cold-blooded, and I think they actually fight more. They just fight in arguments and sabotaging ways, not physically. They get into arguments online on Facebook and tell each other's kids not to play with each other or some shit. Weird stuff. You know what I mean?
But there was something chivalrous about it.
It's about Joe Biden.
About Joe Biden saying, you know, if he said that and we were in high school, I'd take him out back and I'd kick his butt.
Yeah.
And I thought, you know, there was something about that.
Yeah, Joe is what we would call a textbook nice guy. Biden is basically a male feminist. And like we've seen time and time again, these famous men speaking out for women, they almost always turn out to be creepy, at the least. And at the worst, they're handsy, grabby, adulterous, or sexual assaulters even. Oh, also, this is kind of like Joe Biden white knighting the women's rights. And I guess this host at The View appreciates that.
Because he was also speaking at an event where he was encouraging men to stick up for women, not be just bystanders. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I see. Women need male allies, and then horny men sign up to help them, and they soon get caught being creeps that just wanted sex. It's a tale as old as feminism itself. Weak beta guys will always stoop as low as they can go to appease the worst of these women's rights activists. The funny thing is, though, these feminists will still go out and ride Chad Thundercocks every weekend. No girl wants to sleep with a groveling loser.
I don't like any advocation of violence. Bullying is not to make it macabre, but there is bullying going on in school. People, having a lot of... Yes, Whoopi?
Mm-hmm. Maybe they both should sit down and talk to Melania.
Yeah,
Right? Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Trump is such a bully.
Hold on, ladies. I don't know what the fuck Oprah was talking about, but Meghan McCain had a good point going there. There are more important things to talk about this week, like the release of Pacific Rim Uprising, coming to theaters near you tomorrow. But stay tuned this weekend to see my hot take review on it, and I'll tell you if it's worth watching in 10 minutes or less. Okay, shameless plugs over. Back to these idiots at The View. Right, so Meghan then said there's a problem with violence and bullying. She was then cut off by that awful joke, after which this other chick started saying Trump was the bully. But I'm pretty sure Meghan meant Biden is. That's certainly how I see it. Joe disagrees with Trump, so he misquoted him, and then he said he would fight him. Kinda like how Antifa disagrees with conservatives and their rallies, so they go there and start fighting with them. The left and Joe and Antifa are the bullies in these situations. Trump responding to their crap with stern, strong, defensive measures is not bullying at all. That's being confident and standing up for yourself and not being a pushover.
You know, why hasn't anybody taken him out back and kicked his little butt? Like, it's like he's such
he probably has. But we should be advocating for violence. We really should be advocating for violence. I think it's a really dangerous area.
I think Megyn is obviously the only sane one here. I like her. But in a stunning new development, we've now got a new person saying the president should get beat up. This other chick. Looks like this co-host is a violent liberal as well.
All you guys had a lot to say about the rhetoric and people getting kicked the hell out. Let's not have a double standard here. I don't like double standards.
Stand up to him. Why doesn't anybody just stand up to him?
Because we have Secret Service. He's the president of the United States. You want somebody to take him out back and beat the crap out of him? That's not reality. Let's talk about the debt. I can't with all of it.
Preach it. Preach. Get him, girl. Fuck fighting. Fuck getting physical. Am I right? Unless you're Olivia Newton-John. Let's get physical. Physical. I wanna get physical.
Let's get physical.
Let's move on.
Yeah.
She didn't mean it. Say it.
I didn't mean it. No, I wish somebody would stand up to this guy.
There's a hashtag campaign trying to help you. Stop.
Well, first of all,
Stop. Don't.
Stubborn. I like it. Really makes the cringe burn in when you see her refuse to say she didn't mean that. She will not budge or walk it back either. This chick really wants the president to get beat up, like how Joe Biden does. And what's this nonsense about somebody should stand up to him? Everyone and their mother has been coming out against Trump. Everyone's trying to stand up to him, but they have all failed. And many have fallen for it, in fact. Much like how I think Joe Biden will. So unless this is just about beating him up, I don't see why this girl keeps saying no one's standing up to Trump.
Talk about it. Moving on.
It's a pretty serious thing to do.
Yes, it is. And I'm sure these ladies wouldn't let this slide with Obama. Hell no. And they still like Biden, in fact. I mean, even Meghan McCain is saying she loved Biden too. But for some reason, anything goes with Trump. No respect at all. And it's really starting to get old with these lefties. The country can only stomach your lies and double standards for so long. Liberals have been getting away with murder, and it needs to stop. Today we've seen two different people threaten the president with violence, and I'm scared to think what's next. It also reminds me of Madonna saying something about bombing the White House about a year ago. These celebrities and now former politicians like Biden, they've got no decency, no common sense, and no courtesy. And funny enough, they have the balls to call the president a sexual harasser, while at the same time having so much blood on their own hands. Democrats have the worst record of sexual abuse ever. Are you fucking kidding me? Biden is an obvious creep, and Bill Clinton is a rapist. Most of Hollywood are Democrat voting degenerate sexual deviants too. Harvey Weinstein comes to mind, of course, and let's not forget Hillary and him were best friends. And Kevin Spacey, he was a lefty too. And don't even get me started with Anthony Weiner, the Democrat politician who's now in jail for some justified convictions. I'll just leave it at that. And how about two more Democratic mayors? One in Nashville who got caught cheating on her husband and stealing money from the city, a double whammy. And then there's the mayor in Oakland who's been tipping off illegals and criminals, helping them evade police. That's not a sexual scandal, but it is very terrible. In the end, Biden said he would beat up the president while also slandering him as a sexual harasser. And in my opinion, Trump's response was pretty mild, but the news and media blew it way out of proportion. They did this to mostly try and slam Trump for being childish and overly aggressive, or they used this as an opportunity to say the president does deserve to get beat up, like how that chick on The View did. Either way, what we're seeing today is again leftists using each and everything Trump says against him, or at least trying to, and they're doing it despite it making themselves look worse in the long run. All Biden and The View are doing now is making themselves look more and more desperate, more and more violent, and very, very aggressive. They're clearly angry, and shitlibs like this appear to think violence is the next step, apparently. What do you guys think? Should Biden be saying things like this about the president? Will the left ever stop misrepresenting the grab her by the pussy tape? And who would really win in a fight between Biden and Trump? I got a dime on Trump in Vegas right now. Biden's going down in 2 rounds if you ask me. Comment your thoughts on everything below, and thanks for watching No Bullshit. See y'all next time.